Again, thanks for coming. I hope you enjoy the concert. Before I first start the song, we're going to start with a history lesson. The first shots of the Revolutionary War were fired on April 19th, 1775. That's in Lexington and Concord in Massachusetts. The first major action of the war was on June 17th, 1775, at the Battle of Bunker Hill. Then 250 years ago, the Declaration of Independence was unanimously adopted by the Second Continental Congress, creating the United States of America. Then eventually a peace treaty, Treaty of Paris, officially ended the war on September 3rd, 1783. Then a few years later, in 1812, the U.S. declared war on Great Britain. And it was during that war, during a battle off Baltimore, there was a young lawyer named Francis Scott Key, who was working on a prisoner exchange. And he was on a boat, a British vessel, and he saw the firing on Fort McHenry. And he was inspired and he wrote a song, or poem, The Defense of Fort McHenry. And ironically, that poem was then put to music, a British song, and then in 1931, that piece was adopted as our national anthem. So I ask you to stand and join in singing our national anthem. Again, thank you for joining us. And there's several other people I'd like to thank. First, if you look on the back of our program, you'll see a list of sponsors. Each of the pieces we play costs between $100 and $200, so without the generous support of some companies and some individuals, we'd be playing the same piece every year. So I do appreciate all the effort and generosity our sponsors have shown. Also, I'd like to thank Principal James Ray and the Russell County School Board for allowing us to use this facility. I don't know about you, but I'm very glad we're performing inside and not outside. So thanks to them for letting us use their middle school. Also, I'd like to thank Wikipedia and Google. Throughout the concert, I will occasionally share some facts about the pieces. Usually I Google it and then end up on Wikipedia. If there's any kids in the audience, it's a good way to start research. That's not the way you want to really end your research, but for tonight it's okay. For today it's okay. Also, of course, I want to thank the orchestra. Without all the time and effort they put in, I'm just a crazy guy waving my arms. So thank you all for all the time and effort and driving and practice time. Thank you all. And now, in the spirit of July 4th, I'd like to thank our veterans. We're going to play a piece, Here's to the Military. It's a medley of the service songs for each branch of the armed forces. Veterans, as you hear your service song, I ask you to stand and be recognized. Also, I recognize that it's not just the service members who sacrifice, it's also their families. So after the service members have stood for a couple of seconds, I'd like then the families of service members to stand. So if you have a direct relative, a parent, a child, or a sister, or a direct relative, after the service song has started and the veterans have been recognized, I ask you to stand and be recognized as well. Here's the military.
No doubt some of you have seen action in the service of your country. In tribute to you, we're playing your song. Army veterans, please stand.
So about 1.3 million service members have died in all conflicts combined, American service members. But others have also died in service to our country and communities. Each year, about 100 law enforcement officers die in line of service, and around 80 firefighters and emergency medical service workers die in the line of duty each year. More than 3,600 healthcare workers died during the first year of COVID alone. And sadly, possibly most sadly of all, even teachers have died trying to protect students from shooters. We'd like to dedicate our next piece to all of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the service of their fellow men. This is Taps with Grace. So we have a very special treat for this next two pieces. We actually have a chorus that's joining us. And I'm going to get myself a little more comfortable before I say the rest. So I had two pieces I wanted to play that had a chorus. And I was having a hard time finding some volunteers. So with the help of So with the help of Brenda Fuller, she was able to twist the right arms, and Alan Addison, we were able to strong arm all these ladies and gentlemen into coming and singing with us. So thank you all for joining us. But before they sing, I'd like to get some audience participation. So, what are we celebrating today? 4th of July, and I've heard it behind me, but what's another way to think about 4th of July? If we were human, what would we call that? Our birthday, or America's birthday. So with that in mind, I'm going to ask that you all join me in singing Happy Birthday to America. Good job, y'all are the chorus on that one. So our next two pieces, we're going to start with Battle Hymn of the Republic. And our arrangement is by Peter Wilhausen. The most divisive time in our country's history was during the Civil War. Things are a little tumultuous now politically, but nothing like the Civil War. And this next piece came from that time. And I'm sure all of you are familiar with it. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the Battle Hymn of the Republic. So for the last time we sing the chorus, I'm going to turn around and invite you to join our chorus in singing Battle Hymn of the Republic. Our next selection will be From Sea to Shining Sea, which you probably know it as another name, American the Beautiful. Catherine Lee Bates was inspired by a trip across America, and looking out from the top of Pikes Peak in Colorado, the words of a poem came to her. She titled the poem Pikes Peak. It was published 2 years later in 1895 entitled America. In 1910, her poem was combined with a tune by Samuel Ward entitled America the Beautiful. It has become one of our most popular patriotic songs. Our guest vocalist will be singing an arrangement of America the Beautiful by Maurice Whitney. Our next piece is a march, the national emblem. And a lot of us, we just recently had a parade. When we think of parades, we think of marches. This is a standard march in the U.S. repertoire. The U.S. military uses this trio section for ceremonial purposes. John Philip Sousa once listed it as one of the most 3 effective street marches ever written. And this march is the national emblem. And guest conducting the national emblem will be Miss Rebecca Sykes, principal of Lebanon Primary School. Who here likes the movies? Oh, we got a lot of people that like the movies. So you may really like this piece because this comes straight from the movies. Our next selection will be played by the strings and we'll be playing The Patriot, written by John Williams, arranged by John Moss. The Patriot was a 2000 American epic historical war film set during the Revolutionary War. Several of the movie characters were composite characters, and it definitely took a few liberties with history, but it was a very entertaining movie that was set in the area where I grew up in South Carolina. The movie's musical score by John Williams led to an Academy Award nomination. I hope you enjoy the strings version of The Patriot. Our next section, our selection, is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet with ethnic names in New York replacing the Montagues and Capulets. And in this piece, American life in New York is contrasted with Puerto Rico. Of course, I'm talking about America from West Side Story. Our next piece, somebody forgot to put in the program. I'm not going to point any fingers, but somebody forgot it. But you may have heard it because it's been famous for the past 10 years or so. We'll be playing Suite from Hamilton. And this, of course, comes from Hamilton, the American musical, by Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's based on a book by Ron Chernow. And basically, it's a biography of Alexander Hamilton. And like most productions of anything historical, there's a few liberties that were taken, but it largely follows the story of Alexander Hamilton, one of our founding fathers. So I hope you enjoy Suite from Hamilton. And up to introduce our next piece is the composer and the guest conductor. So please welcome to the front, Dr. Donald Sawyer.
So the next piece we're going to perform is one of my own compositions from around 2022, titled Equality, Justice, and Peace for All. This piece was inspired by Nobel Peace Prize laureate Malala Yousafzai and her message of hope, courage, and the power of education. I hope that you'll hear it as a celebration of the values that unite us and our shared hope for a brighter future.
Again, thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate your presence here as we all celebrate July 4th. Of course, there's other musical opportunities later in the day. I believe there's going to be a concert tonight or this afternoon out here, and other great music. Also, you may have seen some posters around advertising the Winds of the Mountain Empire. The Winds of the Mountain Empire, conducted by our own Donald Sawyer, who just guest conducted this, will be performing on, excuse me, let me find the date here. July 26th. Now I found it, I can read that. July 26th at 4 p.m., the Winds of the Mountain Empire will be performing at Union High School in Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Again, July 26th, Sunday, 4 p.m. at Union High School, Big Stone Gap. And then, raise your hand if you ever played in the band in the past. Oh, I see a lot of hands. There's still room on the stage. So if you'd ever like to join, and probably will say, well, I haven't played in years. Well, the only way to play if you haven't played in years is to start playing. So we'd love to have some of you join us. So we will be resuming on September 17th, and I believe that information is on the program, and you can also find more information about the group on the website there. And now for our final piece, the Stars and Stripes Forever. It was adopted as our national march in 1987. I hope you enjoy Stars and Stripes Forever. again, thank you for joining us. Special thanks to the guest vocalists that joined us. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Independence Day.